gmax 1.2 modifiers can greatly assist CNC bas-relief work. Generating Lithophanes demonstrates use of modifiers for consistent and predictable results. A letter T shortcut switches the active viewport to use a top-down view. A letter W shortcut expands the active viewport to the entire viewport's display area. A custom GUI button is used to launch the CNC4.3 Bitmap-to-bas script. The script generates a mesh plane with Displace modifier already applied. Next, a suitable modifier stack will be constructed with adjustments to produce optimum results. Function and purpose of modifiers is addressed in the adjustment phase. In the modifier stack, the plane object level is selected to establish job dimensions. Object length, or y-axis dimension, is set to 130 mm. Object width, or x-axis dimension, is set to 202 mm. Both length segs and width segs value is set as 1. Right-click on View Labels shows an options menu. Show Grid is deactivated for a clearer view. In the modifier stack, the Displace modifier is selected to adjust parameters to suit the job. Displacement strength is a job and image dependent setting. Displacement into the surface with job image required value of -6.0 mm. In the map group, lower down the panel, mapping gizmo dimensions are adjusted to leave a border of 5 mm around the edge of the job. The plane level is selected in the modifier stack. The modifier list drop-down is opened. Meshsmooth is selected in the drop-down list. And it is added to the modifier stack in between plane and Displace. With Meshsmooth selected in the stack, the modifier list drop-down is reopened. UVW Map is selected in the drop-down list. UVW Map is added between Meshsmooth and Displace. UVW Map controls image placement. Default parameters map the image to the entire surface. Parameters are adjusted to match the Displace modifier. Display of the image and mesh displacement must align in the view. The Displace modifier is selected in the stack. The modifier list drop-down is reopened. Optimize is selected in the drop-down list to add it as the final modifier in the stack. The Optimize modifier is most important. Without it, this scene could easily overload system RAM. The test platform uses only 4 GB RAM. Optimize converts NURM surface output from Meshsmooth into a triangulated mesh with specified face edge length. In this case, maximum face edge length equals 0.25 mm. Apart from parameter adjustments, stack setup is complete. It's important to note the following. 1. Modifier order is critical. 2. Understand what the stack is doing. In this stack, a plane object of required dimensions using minimal subdivision is created. Meshsmooth will automatically apply subdivision up to 2 million faces. UVW Map controls how textures or materials appear on a surface. Display of the image is optional. In more advanced work, it can help align or overlay multiple Displace maps. The Displace modifier will use the same map as the applied material to deform the subdivided output from Meshsmooth. Optimize resolves the result to a triangular mesh for export. Keyboard shortcuts quickly open the materials editor and maximize viewport display area. Pressing New on the material editor panel opens a small new material dialog. When the dialog opens, a standard material option is selected. The Material Editor panel updates to display standard materials options and parameters. The small gray button next to the diffuse color swatch is pressed, and the Material Navigator opens to specify the diffuse color map. Left double-click on the bitmap option, and the file browser opens to select the desired image. A found image from the internet is used. Image dimensions are 1920 by 1200 pixels. The image will map to the surface at 10 pixels per millimeter or 254 dpi. With the image selected, pressing open loads it into the Material Editor as diffuse color map. In the bitmap parameters rollout, some area filtering is selected. This option uses more memory, but it produces improved anti-aliasing. In the coordinates rollout, blur offset value is adjusted to 0.002 to slightly soften the image. Negative blur offset values will sharpen images if required. Material mapping uses an independent 3D space. Letters UVW designate material XYZ axis. U and V tiling is deactivated to display a single instance of the texture within the mapped area. The Go to Parent button exits map editing mode and returns the Material Editor to the top level of the current material. The Lock Colors button to the left of ambient and diffuse color swatches is unlocked. Diffuse color is used for lit areas of the surface that fall outside the assigned UVW mapping. Ambient color is used for unlit areas of the surface that fall outside the assigned UVW mapping. Left-click on the diffuse color swatch opens a Select Color dialog. Selecting a color assigns it to the material's diffuse color. Drag and drop from the Material Editor thumbnail preview to the object assigned to the material. The surface changes color, but the bitmap texture is not yet visible. Display of bitmap textures is disabled by default to avoid lag. Left-click on the small checkered button next to the material name in the Material Editor enables viewport display of the bitmap. The Material Editor can be closed. Left-click on the plane selects it and shows its stack. The Displace modifier is selected in the stack. The Map button found in the image area of the Displace modifier command panel is pressed, and the Material Navigator opens in the view. On the Materials Navigator panel, the entire option below the scene group is selected. This option displays all scene maps and materials. The diffuse color map used by the object material is selected. Textures and materials are often reused for several purposes. In this example, it conserves memory usage and preserves exact correspondence between surface texture and mesh displacement. The Meshsmooth modifier is selected in the stack. Left-click on the light bulb icon deactivates Meshsmooth. This prevents surface recalculation as parameters are applied for much faster workflow. Meshsmooth iteration value is adjusted to 10, the maximum value. The optimized level of the stack is selected. With Optimize still selected, the light bulb icon on the Meshsmooth level is clicked to activate Meshsmooth. Gmax becomes busy, generating the resulting surface. On the test system, calculations completed in 34 seconds. The display panel is activated. In the display color group, shade option is changed to object color to remove the bitmap from view. The surface can be closely inspected to check results. The Utilities panel is activated. polygon counter shows more than 1.4 million faces in the optimized surface. If results are as required, the Modify panel is opened. Right-clicking the optimized modifier displays a menu. A Collapse All option combines the effect of all active modifiers into a generic 3D surface ready for export. If desired, material editor features can be applied to modify surface deformation by controlling how gmax interprets image gray values. It's not difficult to set up a custom environment to focus on the effect of adjustments. This can include live display of the adjusted image. Tone height maps can often benefit from an S-curve type adjustment of tonal range. The effect is to darken dark tones and lighten light tones, increasing global contrast in the image. When the curve still passes through the midpoint, midtones are preserved. Material editor adjustment also provides means to boost, slide, and weight the effect of image tones. Displace modifier settings may require review after this kind of image adjustment. The stack is collapsed and the mesh is exported as demonstrated in other site videos. The exported and converted result reviewed in MeshLab. Cut previews from commercial carving software.